Well, hello there, everybody. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are coming from. I guess I'm the one that's coming to you guys from the West Coast, as it happens to be, and then you just get to sit right where you are and enjoy the show and hopefully a nice beverage. You know, if you got tea, that's cool. If you got coffee, that's cool. If you got bubble tea, you're having a very exciting day. And failing that, you know, if you can, get yourself some water. You know, we like water around here. I have some subs and resubs to shout out here. We had Rekutsko with their 5-month resub. Thank you very much. Arani Marsh with a 2-month resub. Arisu with a 3-month resub. Woohoo for the Shadowlands Day. McTaser2 had their 10-month resub. 10 months have gone by so quickly. Thanks for the wonderful streams and content, Hazel. Black Mantle Leadin celebrating 16 months. And then Virianix with a 4-month resub. And Poke of Wens with a brand new sub just now. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. Pokefwens. There we go. That's probably it. Hello. So it's Thursday, and uncharacteristically, we are just starting Kara runs for the week. So we'll be starting on attempt, I think, like 251, something like that. And we didn't do them on Tuesday because Tuesday had just a really extended maintenance, and the servers were down through the whole stream time slot. And then we didn't do them Wednesday because I didn't stream yesterday because I had other places to be, which I can tell you about. Morgan P. Chase, thank you for your 4-month resub. Boxlight, thanks very much for the 4-month resub also. Cheers, guys. Thanks for the train. Have that cup too. The Murloc mugs are they're a little inconvenient. If you don't have one, don't feel too bad because one, they're like an odd oval shape at the rim, which means that while I can drink out of them great with the metal straw, if I don't have such a thing, I am prone to tipping a little far because it's just an unconventional mug shape. And secondly, the footprint of this mug within my mug cupboard, my mubbard, if you will, is large for what it is. You know, if you get a cylindrical mug that's taller, it could have the same capacity while taking up less cupboard space. So this, you know, if you have this in your cupboard, that's like 2 other mugs that you don't have, because now you don't have room. However, it's so precious that it is worth it, and I do have 2 of them. Uthrid, thanks very much for the raid. Welcome, guys. Pine Fresh with a 3-month resub. Happy 3 months. Today, this mount is going to drop. I can feel it. I'm ready. Humble Frogs had a 4-month resub. Thank you. Fryland with a 3-month resub. And Fiery Eyes with a 2-month resub. Also, Boxlight had said, hyped for Hazel. Calling it now. This is the run. When I use my red Murloc mug, need to use a straw for sure. It's just as good an excuse as any to really get on board with the stainless steel straw thing. I should. I would say I should bring them with me so I can use them out in the world instead of disposable straws, but I don't really get things with straws out in the world very much. I suppose if we were going to do bubble tea, we do that sometimes, not very often. I do actually have extra big ones for bubble tea that I could bring with me, but for the most part, we just like forget the straw and take the whole thing home anyways. Let's see. Have a color-changing Harry Potter mug. Did you see the new WoW cookbook? Very excited about that. Apparently, it's not coming out until next, like, spring, summer, May. But that's 1,000% happening. Mooney, thank you very much for the 17-month resub. Thanks for all you do. We really appreciate you. We also have Rye902 with a 4-month resub. Happy 4 months and good luck. And then Mythexist with a 7-month resub. Time flies when you're having fun. When could we expect the quick and neat boss guides you do? Before the raid. The raid guides will be out before the raid, and we have a raid date now. It's in December. I tweeted the dates, but I have not fully memorized them. Release, I know that pre-patch event starts on November 10th, and then the expansion releases November 23rd, or like 24th, I suppose, depending on time zones. It's going to be a global release again. And then December 10th, yeah, was that it? No, it was like 2 weeks after the 23rd, was the raid release. So yeah, so this is it. Yeah, so like December 10th can't, oh, that's January. I've gone too far. Back it up. Well, that doesn't seem right. Anyways, December 8th. That sounds right. Yeah, that one. Raid guides will be out before that. If history is anything to go by, then the last 3 are going to come out between the hours of like 1 a.m. and 7 a.m. on day of. I'd rather not do that, but I know myself too well to guarantee that I won't. How did yesterday go? Sorry. I never have secrets, so I never have anything to leave people in suspense over, so I had a little too much fun. Yesterday went pretty good. If you are out of the loop, yesterday I had my driving road test. I am an adult. I was an adult student driver. I've been learning to drive over the past year at the rusty old age of 27/28. So later than some people, but you know, nothing wrong with that, perfectly fine. And yesterday was my road test. And I can't wait to tell you all about it because it was something else. So I get there, and the drive there, like, kind of doesn't go very well. Like, I get in the car. Usually what happens is I'll take the dog down to the car whenever we're going someplace, because we can't leave the dog at home. I'll take the dog down to the car, and we'll wait in the car, and I'll, like, sort myself out and get my directions whenever ready to go, while Mr. Nutty gets ready without the dog watching him, and he'll come down. So I get down to the car, and the windows are, like, all frosted, and the mirrors are all wet, and I need to clean them, so I, like, you know, roll down the windows and clean stuff. But then I'm, like, leaning across the passenger seat, well parked, but I'm leaning across the passenger seat to clean the passenger side window, and I accidentally lean on the gas pedal while still parked, and scare the bejesus out of myself, because, of course, the car, like, runs. And I'm like, oh no, this is not a good omen. So we get there. We don't make any horrifying mistakes, except for I kind of, I misnavigate a little bit on the way there. I don't remember if I got confused by a direction, but I ended up in like a really dense construction zone, and then we drove around for a while because we were early. But I got there on time. I found it. I check in at the desk, and I'm going to warn you guys, I'm going to be telling the story for like probably 10 minutes, so if you say anything in chat, I may not see it. I check in, and I use, for my ID, I decide to use my green card. I don't know why. I could have used the learner's permit as well. They're both photo ID. But I give them my green card for ID, and then all of a sudden, I'm now the coolest thing to them. And mind you, I should clarify, I'm doing this at a private business because the Oregon DMV, Oregon is the state that I live in, the Oregon DMV is not currently offering driver's exams. And they're not saying when they're gonna because of COVID. So if you want to get a road test done in Oregon right now, you have to do it through a third-party business. So I check in, and after the girl takes my ID, and this nice woman asks me, okay, super weird question, and she gives me that look, and I'm like, oh dear. And then she says, while you were in Canada, did you ever meet Tegan and Sarah? Who I understand is like a music group. It's like, no, didn't run into them. Sorry. And they're like, oh, cool. So I had a good small talk topic. She was not my driving tester, but she apparently relayed the information that I was both Canadian and had not seen Tegan and Sarah to my driver. So I'm waiting for a while, just trying not to freak out. I was feeling quite unprepared just because, you know me. And I was wondering if I really even deserved a license yet, because I couldn't even imagine driving alone. And while I have perfectly fine control of the vehicle, I still, like, second guess myself a lot when it comes to right-of-way situations and, like, knowing who to yield to. And I was kind of freaking myself out, but I just kind of wait. And then, dude shows up. And my driving examiner, let's say, and let me make sure I catch up on subs real quick. Atel Kazoo, thank you for the 5-month resub. Hi, Hazel, glad to catch you live. Also, RCF97 with the 5 months. Thanks, guys. So my examiner comes out, and he's wearing a big purple hoodie and some big purple sneakers. And I don't know for sure, but I am pretty sure this dude is younger than me. So I already feel kind of less intimidated because I was always envisioning my driving examiner as being like, I don't know, like a clean-cut man in his 50s who's just, like, real quiet and makes you think you've disappointed him even though he's not related to you in any way. That's what I had in mind, and that's not what happened. So he shows me the car, and I have some difficulties with the car because I had to test in one of the driving school's vehicles. They don't test in, that school will not test in our vehicles. So I had to take my test in a vehicle I'd never driven before, and I was real nervous about that. But, like, I tell him that I've never driven it before, and he shows me how to open it. This thing doesn't have a key. Those of you with newer vehicles will be like, well, yeah. And then those of you like me that have cars with, like, keys and stuff will be like, what? It had a fob that you unlocked it with, and that made sense. And then I get in, and there's, like, nowhere to put a key because there is no key. And he shows me, like, how to adjust the mirrors and whatever and it took me way too long. I was, like, pressing things that weren't buttons because he would be like, you just use this wheel. And I was, like, leaning on the side of the wheel. And he's like, no, you turn it just to, like, you know, test the lights and stuff. Also, I did not get them out. That was attempt 250. Anyways, it's like a SUV, I guess. It's much bigger than what I'm used to driving. But we finally get ready to go. And I press the on button because this car has an on button. It's like a big toy. and back out of there and go off. And the first thing I notice is that the wheel has like no resistance on it. My car, I'm pretty sure, has power steering. I drive like a small automatic car. It's nothing special. It's like every car ever. But you know, when you're turning the wheel, you have to like try a little bit. You have to want to. And this one, I swear to God, I feel like I'm sitting in one of those little kiddie, like those little fake cars that kids ride around in that have wheels that don't do anything. And except that this one certainly did. So that was a little nerve-wracking. But I did all the stuff that I remembered because the day before, Tuesday, I streamed Tuesday morning, and then I was like, I'm going to get some work done and then do the test on Wednesday. So I streamed Tuesday morning, and then I got no work done. I spent the entire afternoon worrying about it and like watching YouTube videos of other people taking road tests and stuff. I can't decide if that was a mistake or not. It did freak me out more, but it also gave me some good ideas. So anyways, we pull out. I do all the things that it told me to, and also all the things that I've learned, because I have been practicing for like a year. And this guy's asking me, I thought that the examiner would not, like, they give you the little booklet, right, before you start the test that the DMV has, and it says things like, your examiner is not here to ask you to do anything illegal, they're not going to try to trick you, they're not going to visit with you, they won't make small talk with you, they're just there to observe your decisions. And that is not how my examiner operated. So they were having like a nice little conversation, and he was asking me like, hey, well, what do you do for fun? And I mentioned that I was a gamer because I had to pull the gamer card. So then I was telling him about WoW and about other games that I played. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking, it's hard for me right now to focus on doing everything I need to do correctly while also telling him about my Soul Level 1 run. But he seems to be pretty into the conversation, so maybe if I could just not crash us and not do anything really stupid, but keep the conversation going, that'll better my chances. So I kept talking. But the route, for whatever reason, it didn't hit a school zone, so that thing that I was worried about didn't happen. But what it did do is we went through some heavy construction, and there was like lots of like complete stop traffic, you know, flag people. The road was all torn up. It was kind of a mess, but I wasn't too worried about it because I figured, nobody's expecting you to speed navigate a construction zone, so you just kind of slow down and wait. It was fine. There was a funny moment when I was at a stop sign, and there was a flag person on the through road that was trying to wave me through, but I hadn't finished coming to a complete stop yet. And on your test, you really want to come to a full and complete stop before the line. So like this person's like, come on, you can go. And I'm just like, no, not yet. Getting there. Just waiting for my momentum to completely cease, and then I shall proceed through this completely deserted stop sign. So that was fun. But I made it through the traffic zones. I get back, and then parking was a little tricky because I am not great at parking to begin with. I would put myself on a national average because it doesn't look like anybody else in the world can park either. But it takes me a few tries sometimes. And I've, of course, never parked this vehicle. It's way bigger than what I'm used to. So I messed that up a little bit. I park over one of the lines, and then he says, so I'm going to dock you a point. I'm going to dock you one mistake for parking on the line because that was a mistake. But aside from that, you did everything right. You had a near perfect score. You were an exceptional driver, and good stuff. And then I said sick because I don't know, I was stressed, and it was good. Apparently my blind spot checks were very good because you want to check your blind spot before you like change lanes or before you pull into like a bike lane before you're gonna turn right and whatever. And I did that. And apparently people don't, because he was very impressed with this thing that was kind of basic, but that was good. He did say there was one point when he thought I was speeding, but then he realized everybody else was speeding too, so it was cool. And I don't know if that's exactly what they should do. I think it's that, like, if everybody else is going much faster, you don't want to be driving unsafely slow, even if it's the limit. But I didn't know that the test would agree with me on that, but I'll take it, Everyone makes fun of me for saying sick. Well, after I said it, he said, oh man, I thought I was the only one who said sick. And then I told him, dude, I'm 28. Don't take it as too much of a credit. I'm not cool. Kaya with the 1,000 bits. Thank you very much. I need to catch up on chat to see if there's messages there. Oh, I hope you enjoyed the day off yesterday. Congrats on passing. Procyon had some bits. Let me find him. Congrats. Thank you. So the day before on Tuesday, when I was stressing out about, like, unable to focus on anything not test related and had pretty much given up on getting any work done, I decided to just redo my nails because I had told you guys on Tuesday I wasn't really happy with them. I'd done like a French tip thing and I just didn't like them. So I decided that I was going to try to manifest victory by painting cake on my nails because we'd been out in this area before, and we found a patisserie that we really liked that did these really cute, fancy little, like, mousse cakes. And I'd had one before and they were really good, and it was near the school. So I decided that if I passed, I was gonna go take us to the bakery to get these little cakes afterwards. And then I decided that in order to bring that energy into the universe, I needed to paint cakes on my nails. Also, I just needed a better idea for a manicure. So I gave myself some little, I wonder if there's a good one I can show you. Here. Let's see if I can get a good focus on this. So there's a thumbnail. That's my pink lemonade cake nail. And then over here, there's like a little slice of sort of cheesecake going on over there. It's not perfect. I'm not super happy with my color selection. It came out a little dark, but the concept was cute, and it did kind of work because I keep wanting to say I won or I beat the boss, and that's not exactly the right terminology, but I did pass. Then you had it in the bag when you gave details that the average driver forgets or doesn't practice. I may have overstudied a little bit. Obviously, you still want to know stuff so you can like drive safely on the roads and whatever. But we may have overstudied, and also my spouse who was teaching me to drive, he hasn't taken the test in many years. He doesn't really know what's on it, so he was also being not critical of me, but he was noting mistakes that I was making that were minor things or things we weren't sure that would matter, but we just wanted to cover our bases. And I think that some of our combined perfectionism may have taken some confidence off of me and made me think that I couldn't drive when I can drive well enough. I just don't believe in myself. I'm 30, failed my test, didn't make a full stop at a stop. Yeah, the two things that I knew would get me, there's two insta-fail conditions that were like possibilities in my head, and one of them was blowing a stop sign, which I don't do, but like if I'm stressed enough and I just blank and didn't see it, maybe, but I didn't do that. And then the other one is you're not allowed to like roll over a curb, and I figured if I just royally messed up parking, or they have a part where they have you pull over to the curb and then back up along it to prove you can back up in a straight line, and also to make sure you like look behind you before you back up, because apparently people forget that. Not to judge you if you forgot to do that, but, you know, look out your back window. Also, this thing had like a really small back window, but it was kind of fun to drive. I don't need a new car, and I'm not getting a new car, but now I understand why people want new cars, because, I thought my car was totally fine until I rode a much newer one. It wasn't even that new, but like it turned on with a button. Catching up on chat. How do you get your cat to sleep in beds? Mine refused to. I don't think you get your cat to do anything. I think you provide your cat with options, and then your cat's gonna do what your cat's gonna do. This particular bed we have found to be attractive to both pets. We don't really know why, but it must be comfy because both the cat and the dog love it, so we have two of them. But aside from that, I could not tell you. There's no advice that I can give you that will apply to any given cat. Knew you could do it. I guess so. I passed the test. I don't have the license yet because I had to take it through a third-party testing business. Now I have to go back to the DMV. They are appointment only. I do have an appointment. It's in early November, so I do have an appointment to go actually get the pictures taken and the license and whatever. But I can't drive alone until then. But after that, I'm gonna be allowed to just get in the car and go places. And I'm kind of horrified that it was that easy because the test in the States right now, at least in Oregon, doesn't have you do a lot of stuff, you know. They have no idea if I can drive on freeways, if I can safely merge. I guess they watch me do a lane change, but you know, they didn't test for like maneuvers or parallel parking or 2 or 3 point turns. And while I can do these things because I practice them anyways, somebody could very easily just kind of drive a go-kart around the block a few times and get lucky and pass. Johnny Soares, thank you for the bits, appreciate it. Also Nutty Natsu with a brand new sub, welcome to the Squirrel Squad. Gemini Sweet had an 8-month resub, thank you very much. And Boo Ghost NA with a 15-month resub. Gonna make a guide on passing driving exams like a pro. Oh, I don't know if I'm qualified for that. But I will say, if there's anybody among you who is also older and doesn't have their license yet and you're afraid of it, I'm here to tell you that that was me. And it was scary, and it's still kind of scary, but also worth it and not as hard as you think. And not as scary as you think. There's probably a few conceptions you have in your head that you will realize later are not true once you start driving, but you just gotta kind of learn. Although, of course, I was really lucky in that I had a family member, in this case my spouse, to teach me. If you didn't have somebody you were comfortable with learning from, I would save up to see if you can get driving lessons, which I know is hard right now with the pandemic, but I was reading lots of stories from like teenage drivers that would talk about how they were really scared driving because their parents would just berate them and freak out every time they made a mistake. And that's not a great environment to learn how to control a vehicle in. Show your talents for like 10 seconds on this character. Yeah, I will warn you, they're not for anything. I just kind of picked them for the sake of running through the raid. So Unfurling Darkness and Misery is nice for like world questing because it's going to give you hardcast one Vampiric Touch. It puts your dots up on one target, and then you can instacast it on the second one, puts them up on the second one, so it's nice for that. But it's by far not the only setup, and I wouldn't really use it for raiding. Fig Newtons, thank you for the brand new sub. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. Push to start is nice. My BF lost my car keys one day on top of my car. We couldn't start it or I would have lost my keys in the road. Sometimes it's nice to have the standard key in the ignition. Yeah, that's probably a fair point. What was your reaction to the new Shadowlands release date? Do you think it'll be ready? I think it'll be ready enough. Depends on what you mean by ready. I don't think it'll ever be perfect. It's just a question of whether you think they needed more balancing or whether you think they need more bug fixing. It will certainly need some balancing and bug fixing that'll come out in hotfixes and patches after release, but that is always true. That will always happen. It's just a question of degree. I'm happy. I think it's good. I'm excited. I need to learn how to drive it as manual. Too scary. I also did learn automatic, so I was basically driving a go-kart, but darn it, it was still scary. Perk with a 17-month resub. The other funny thing that had happened before I started my test is my instructor had come into the room and was chatting with the lady at the desk before I started, and he was telling her about how the last person that he tested had robbed his bank. He wasn't working there. He was not a victim directly of this robbery, but like the institution that he banked with had been robbed a couple of years back, apparently by this kid. And then now he's come back to get a driving license. All right, catching up. Congratulations. Good luck on midnight. A little lost with Esprits. We appreciate it. Manual is life. I will learn to drive manual if and when it becomes important or necessary. And if it never becomes important and necessary, I just won't. I don't think I need any extra car points. I am happy to drive my go-kart around for all the places I need to go with it. Good to learn for those just-in-case scenarios. Failed my first test by curb checking. Kind of driving test is the best kind that makes more mistakes when you're nervous, tries to put you a bit at ease. Yeah, I think that the instructor is huge, especially if you're prone to nerves. I was nervous, which is expected because I'm a nervous person, but I also think that I wasn't as nervous as I could have been, and that was one. I think I did have a few benefits for having done all of this later. Obviously, if you can learn as a kid, do that. But I think that you do get a couple advantages for learning as an adult in that you take it hopefully a little bit more seriously. You're a little bit more focused. You're sometimes a better student. Sometimes it's easier to take direction when you're grown up and they're not trying to control you. They're just trying to help you not die. And then, what else? I think that the instructor trusted me a little bit more, but you also just have more, I think that, especially as an anxious person, you've had more time in your life to not grow out of your anxiety a little bit, but kind of learn to manage it better. It was a scary thing to do, but I know now that I have done scarier things. I was more scared doing immigration interviews. I was more scared walking into customs buildings and like trying to argue for why I should be allowed to live with my spouse. I was more scared going to Blizzard headquarters and meeting people there. That was infinitely more scary than this because, this was a little higher stakes, but it was, also I did not get the mount. Also, rarity was not on. I'm gonna have to make sure I enable that when I log out. I've walked into enough rooms that I was horrified to be in that I'm not really less scared, but I've learned, oh my god, there's a bug on my camera. Speaking of being scared, excuse you, sir. I'm afraid that I must ask you to leave the premises. You're gonna get a bunch of belly button, don't mind me. Don't you fly. Don't do it. In the cup. Yeah, there you go. Good job. All right. One moment, please. That cat doesn't care one bit. Kitty, you have one job. It's one of those seed bugs. They're not, you don't squish them. I suppose you could, but it would be very gory and very smelly. And they're not usually too tough to catch, so you usually just like get them in a cup and chuck them out the window. Oh gosh, thoughts on the slight difficulty increases stuff since the level squish. little inconvenient. It was mostly expected. It always kind of happens, but I haven't found it really preventing me from doing any of the stuff that I'm doing, and I know it's a real short-term problem because the expansion will come out eventually, and then we're going to level out of it. So I'm making sure that my rarity is fully enabled for everybody. There we go. Fuck was a fan and wanted to watch stream too. I was not ready for him to crawl over the lens. Not a stink bug, similar to stink bugs, but we also have stink bugs, so I know the difference. Bigger than a stink bug. Closer to cockroach size. Learned manual at 19, never done automatic. Been 15 years or more since I drove last time. Void Elf, Shadow Priest, or Human Shadow Priest? I really like Human Priest. Void Elf is close. I have both. Void Elves, I think might be better racially. You've got a movement racial and you've got a lack of spell pushback racial, which is nice. But humans, you know, they get secondaries, they get reputation, and their animations are just so, like, grounded feeling. Let's see. Why wouldn't you plan Death Rising for Day of the Dead? I think they're just doing their best to get it out both as soon as possible for people to play and enjoy, but, you know, in the best case that it can be, while, you know, managing, like, you know, everybody working from home and COVID and wildfires and just, like, getting through the day in 2020. I will play Shadowlands when it's ready and it comes out, and if it needs some hot fixes, that's fine too. I mean, it always is. Let's see, we could say Mr. Satel or Mrs. Atel or something different altogether, but thank you for the brand new sub. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. Also, we had Lubrical with a brand new sub. Thanks. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. And Izarian Plays had their 6-month resub. Where's your shirt from? This one was a present from Blizzard that I was assuming they were going to put on their stores eventually, but I never saw it come up. This was like from an influencer event. Do you brew pu'er tea in a pot? Typically, yes. You could make it in a cup. You could make it in a fancier or smaller pot. There's different ways to do it. But I will brew pu'er tea very similarly to how I brew other types of tea. I will usually break some of the cake off. I have a tea pick, but you could just use a knife. And then I'll put that into like a basket infuser. Rinse it first. So what I'll do, also there's a dog behind me, see him? I will boil some water or bring it to usually about 200 for my show pours. And then I'll pour a little over the basket in the pot just to kind of get the dust and the fines off of it. And then also it preheats the pot, and you can use that to preheat your cups if you want. But I'll usually start with that, and then I will, after dumping that out, I'll fill the pot again and I'll steep it for like 2 minutes, depending on the pot size. More, it depends on the pot and the tea, but I'll start with 2 minutes and I'll adjust it up or down as needed next time. Mrs. Atel, you got it right the first time? Well, thank you. The spell disruption cancel ratio. Let's see. Thoughts on Cyberpunk 2077 delay, or not too interested in Cyberpunk? No particular personal interest in Cyberpunk, although my mind could get changed. I tend to come to games late after everybody else has already proven that it's come out on time, but like, or not on time, bad choice of words. After everybody else has proven that the already released game is fun and satisfying, because sometimes, hype trains will get real excited about games and they'll get pre-ordered and there'll be this trailer and this release and that interview, and then the game comes out and everybody's like, oh. So because I have no vested interest in being first to the table with like a non-WoW game, what I'll do is I'll just wait 2 months. If people are still playing it and streaming it and talking about it 2 months after it releases, then I will consider picking it up. Hades is a good example of that, where Hades came out 2 years ago almost, and I have multiple different people telling me how fantastic it is, and I eventually picked it up and I've been having a great time with it, but too many games are flashes in the pan for me to put my money right up front. You mentioned immigration. Would you mind sharing how long that process took? I think about 2 years. Maybe a little under 2 years. I came in 24. 2 years sounds about right. 2 years and a lot of money. A kind of disgusting amount of money. And that was legally via a fiance visa, which is one of the one of the accepted ways to enter the country. And it was so expensive and took so long and took doctor's appointments and interviews and so much paperwork and so many documents. And I am going to be really sunk cost salty if we then leave the country again, unless, I would love to go back and live in Canada, but it will have been a gigantic waste of time. I guess not a waste of time. I have lived here and enjoyed it for a while, but Storm Petal, thank you for the 4-month resub, and Mr. Hunt with a brand new sub. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. Also, we have, a bunch of people. Mexis D with a 5-month resub. Leo with a 5-month resub. Love your streams, Hazel. Thank you. And Fortress of Lions with a brand new sub. Got an email from Steam saying Hades was on sale. Yeah, give it a go. If you like that kind of game that you are, it's basically, if you've heard anything about Torghast, it's like that, but an actual game, and not just a game mode within an MMO. It's very well realized. It's very good. I think you will stay after next week. I hope so. It would be much more convenient. We'll have to see. I am actually Canadian. That shouldn't be that surprising. I've never heard, I am Canadian, although I'm from the island. I'm from Vancouver Island, kind of west coast BC. And I had never heard the term hoser until I came to the States. Not once did I hear that word. That one, I'm not saying it's not Canadian, I'm saying it's not from my neck of the woods. Near perfect gameplay narrative loop. Yeah, then I've heard the voice acting's phenomenal. I've heard the story's phenomenal. I don't have it in me, apparently, to enjoy even the very best of gameplay stories. Because I do find myself skipping it a lot. But the gameplay is so fun and satisfying that even though I'm quite bad at it, I watched my husband fully beat the game and start completing runs and start getting into like the post-game and the challenge modes in like half the number of runs that I'm at, and I still have yet to kill Hades. But, you know, I'm still enjoying myself. I'm enjoying the meta progression. I'm enjoying experimenting with different builds, and, you know, you get lucky, and it's just, there's always a little bit more you can do. I've been getting a lot of time out of it. Will you be playing Cyberpunk? Oh yeah, I was talking about Cyberpunk. I don't think so, at least not on launch, unless I decide that people want that and that I'm a variety gamer now. I don't see that coming, but, you know, weirder things have happened. From Okanagan, BC. What's your advice on gearing up new 50s quickly? Not worth it? In my opinion, not worth it. If you're gonna gear them up, chill until November 10th and see what the pre-patch gearing is like. It's honestly too much work to get right now gear, unless you already have it, relative to the amount of benefit that it's going to give you. So like if you have your banks and they're full of Black Empire gear because you played 8.3 a bunch, then that's good. Send some of that over. If you have a character that has a bunch of mana pearls, prismatic mana pearls from Nagitar, buy yourself some benthic gear, send that over. If you have neither of these things, just wait. Like, I am wearing nothing on most of my characters, and they can still do Karazhan, they can still, like, squeak through a world quest, and we're mostly just waiting for a pre-patch event and then for Shadowlands anyways. So, it's, because of the item level squish, the gap between, like, a fully geared 120 and a fresh 120 is much smaller, so you're still doing the same amount of work of, like, I mean, on my, on one of my characters, I went and unlocked their neck. I think it was my new one. It was on Boy. I went and got Boy's neck unlocked and his essence is unlocked so that his neck item level bumped up. Not really worth it. Could have skipped that. Could have sat that out. How do you adjust to no free healthcare when immigrating? So two things. One of them, my husband's job has health benefits, or health insurance included in it. So in the times that I have needed to go to the doctor, we are at least partially covered and the copays don't really ruin us. And then aside from that, I just do my very best to not get sick or injured, which is not helpful advice. But I am lucky that I am young and that I don't have pre-existing conditions and I'm not terribly risk-taking, so we haven't really had a lot of medical expenses since we've lived here. Most of it would be dental, which is covered, and dental is not free in Canada either. You still have to pay for the dentist and it's just as expensive as it is here. So if I came down with, like, cancer or some other like disease that was going to require really expensive therapies, then that would be a real bummer. But aside from that, we're mostly squeaking by. Hard time balancing playing WoW and Animal Crossing. I always play way more than one or the other than it switches. Yeah, I can't. I have a tough time doing both. I feel that. We do know the event is November 10th. We do know that. That was in the adjustment. That was in the announcement post, rather. I suppose I would still have Canadian healthcare if I went back to Canada. So I imagine that if I became deathly ill and, you know, in a short enough time that I might be able to go back. I don't know how Health Canada feels about you just coming back as soon as you need some chemotherapy, but I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be able to do it. I don't know. Finally able to catch your stream. Can't wait for your guides. Perfectly concise and to the point. I'm glad they work for you. Fenrios, thank you for the 3-month resub. Please recharge with a brand new sub. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. Let's see. And then there's Haley Ray with a brand new sub. Thanks, Haley. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. And I don't remember if I thanked Mr. Hodge. Thank you very much. Let's see. Oh, I'm catching up. I'm from British Columbia. Go back to Canada if you get really sick. We were looking around trying to figure out where on earth we could live if we wanted to go back to Canada, because it is true, as chat told me, TELUS is installing fiber in parts of the island. But, you know, you got to find a place that's also affordable enough to live. And this is a selfish want of mine, but I really want to buy a house. We've been saving for years. I really want to buy a house. I want to start building equity. I want to stop renting. And while I might be able to afford to like rent a small and not very nice apartment, you know, near my family, buying a house in one of these places with fiber would be not impossible, but a different something to look into. And there may be challenges around that. We'll have to see, figuring out what we're doing with our lives. If you pay Canadian taxes, you're welcome to go back if you're sick. I mean, I have paid them in the past. I'm not paying them now. They're not, yeah, no. I think right now the border is closed. I don't know if I would be able to go home if I wanted to. Certainly I could not bring my husband home right now. If we were going to go back, we would need to have him apply for a spouse visa and a residency. The other way around, we would have to start that process. I don't know if I could go back if I wanted to, honestly. I don't know. COVID makes that especially complicated. Congrats on passing your driver's test. Why, thank you. I did. I feel pretty cool. I don't really believe it. He said I was an exceptional driver, and I don't believe him. I do get from point A to point B, and I haven't hit anybody yet. I guess I just need practice. I need confidence. So what I'm doing is I'm basically, anytime we need to go anywhere, I'm just driving us because I need as much experience as I can get to, like, you know, shake the nerves off and get a little more comfortable and see more places, and also get used to the area where I'm driving would be nice, because a lot of the times that I'm struggling, it's not that I don't know what to do with the vehicle, it's that I don't know where to turn, or, you know, I'm trying to turn left and then all of a sudden some right lanes appear and I'm going into those ones, but that's not where I'm going, and I just like get not lost but confused about where I'm going, I suppose. And that is something that I will be more comfortable with after I've just driven around here a lot more. I do a thing where I'm on the freeway, because there's a lot of places in Oregon that are all connected via the I-5. And I'll be driving the freeway, and I'm just trying to figure out which lane to be in for the least number of lane changes, because, you know, right lanes aren't good because right lanes end, but then I'll get left and then immediately have to get right again, because I just haven't really nailed down where all my exits are, and when lanes are appearing and when lanes are disappearing, and I just need to memorize all that so I can just... You know, my signature Hazel move, also 252, actually. I'm going to manually update that because it didn't count the one I just did on my human priest. My signature Hazel move is to make a lane change, because I'm trying to lane change early, because I don't want to be caught trying to, like, cut in at the very last minute. Make a lane change early and then immediately have to undo it because that lane's, like, ending or exiting or, like, merging back into my existing lane. I do that all the time, and it's really embarrassing. I just change and then I'm like, oops, sorry, nope, well, never mind. I was just trying to be proactive, and I was incorrect. This is not the right interface for me. I need to go here, and then here, and then here, and then mounts, and then midnight. $252. Laughs in 7 lane one-ways, yeah. That was the other thing, is last weekend we went and got all of this practice on one-way streets and rail crossings and stuff, and didn't need any of it. I had to work out of my system which lane to turn into on one-ways, because I was too used to turning onto the second half of the road, and on one-ways you want to turn into the nearest lane if you're turning from the left lane. I had to do that a bunch of times to, like, work it out of my system, and I was feeling all nervous about it, and then we just, like, drove around residential streets. Mind you, a lot of construction zones. I'm sure that if I had been really nervous, the construction zones would have really thrown me, because the roads were a mess and there were just, like, workers wandering through the street, not looking where they were going at all. So I had to stop a number of times to, like, not hit people. But, you know, I did. So that's good. Oh, man. How old is your kitty? I think she's probably 5 now. Her birthday's with my birthday, so you'd think I would have the number in mind, but 5 or 6, somewhere around there. California? No, Portland. So just one state north. I will say, I hope and plan to never in my life drive in California. I have been on the roads around there in, like, Ubers and Lyfts and whatever. No thanks. Nope. Not doing it. Can't make me. Nah. I just won't go, or I will rideshare around, or I just won't go. I will not drive around there. It looks hideous. No, thank you. What am I doing? I am going, oh, her Hearthstone is not set to Darkshire. So what she does is she dream walks and then uses the Duskwood portal. But what I could do is I could, while I'm in the area, set her Hearthstone to Duskshire because it is a little closer than this portal. Driving is fun when it doesn't make my anxiety go through the roof. I am looking forward to that point. I do have stretches where I'm at places that I have driven a whole bunch. And, you know, I can turn some music on and I can have a conversation and I can just kind of enjoy myself. And I'm further looking forward to this mystical experience people speak of driving by themselves and being able to either sing to themselves or talk to themselves or just have nobody in the car and they're just going somewhere. Looking forward to that, but you know, there's lots of places where if I'm unsure of where I'm going, I'm looking for like directions or exits or whatever, I'll turn the music off and just like try to find it. If you want a death wish, drive in Paris or Rome. The add-on that I'm using to count my attempts is Rarity. They wouldn't be so close to the road if they wanted to get hit. You don't use your cell while driving. No, I have a dashboard mount that I will put my phone up on, and it's for maps. So I'll pull up the Google Maps directions to where I'm going, and I'll have that mounted on the dashboard like a GPS so that I can see where like my directions are, but I'm certainly not touching it. I'm not texting. I'm not changing. Like if I need to change a song, I can kind of feel for the controls by the radio because I'll also play my music through the phone, but I'm certainly not interacting with the phone. And honestly, I cannot imagine like texting and driving. I don't get how, obviously it's stupid. I don't get how people think it's a good idea because even if you know where you're going and there's nobody there, things change fast sometimes. Like even just coming back home from the driver's test. I had somebody try their very best. I don't know if they just didn't see me, but they tried to change lanes right into me. And I'm kind of regretting not honking at them because it would have been a very valid use of my horn, and I've never gotten to beep at anybody yet. So I probably should have. They saw me eventually and then changed their mind and thought better of it. But, you know, it happens real quick, and I had to really slow down to not die. And I don't get it. Let's see here. Shadowlands releases on my birthday. Happy birthday to you. When you drive in the LA area, you assume other drivers are your opponents. Yeah, I'm not about that. People complain about drivers around here, and I'm sure some of them are, you know, making mistakes or driving unfriendly, and sometimes that happens. But for the most part, you know, I feel like we're all working together to get home at the end of the day. Most wholesome road rage. Let me see. We had Deanie with a 12-month resub. Happy 1 year, a whole year. Thank you for the content, Hazel. Oh, I need to stealth. And then Jenna Siddall with a 2-month resub. Love your YouTube vids. Barely get to catch the streams, but love them also. Aw, thanks. Land the horn to people who cross the street on green lights. Is it heroic or mythic for the mountain Karazhan? It is mythic. You're looking for the little purple banner with the skull on it. If it's not purple, you're not on mythic. I have made that mistake before. Got to take advantage of the honk. Yeah, never gotten a honk yet. And of course I wouldn't honk incorrectly, but that would have been a good one. One day. Do you need the typical response being cut off and say hello? I'm mostly just glad they figured it out. And I think I'm still a new enough driver that I empathize. I did that once when I was very new in that I wasn't fully parsing the information I was getting from my mirrors. So I checked them and I thought I was clear, but I was not. And I started to change lanes and I got honked at and I went, oh no. And I've never done that again because it shook me to my very core. But I understand, you know, sometimes things happen and it's not good, but it's lucky that I was paying attention, that other people were paying attention. The person behind me also didn't rear end me, even though I had to slow down suddenly. It all worked out. You never know where someone's going or what they're going through or what's up with them. And maybe they're just being irresponsible, but you know, it doesn't do me any good to assume that. So I'm not too worried about it. And then when I see people do dumb things that aren't harmful to me, but they're just stupid, I really enjoy that because I'm like, man, they're allowed to have a license. And of course now I have mine, so maybe I'll be less forgiving, but I was just taking it as encouragement while I was still practicing for my test. It's like, man, if that person's allowed to drive, I'm going to be fine. I got stuck at an intersection. Someone ran a red. Super awkward, making my turn while the light was red. Another one was green. Now to get a motorbike, whole new world. No thanks. I have been on the back of a motorbike before, and it is fun, but it is not worth it. I have family that have worked in the emergency room before, and you hear a couple stories about what people look like when they come in after motorcycle accidents, and you won't want to ride one anymore. I'm good. What spec am I? I'm Guardian. I'm a bear. Crashing, thrashing Hazel. There we go. So excited. I got the horseman mount this morning. Hoping you get midnight soon. Congratulations. I don't like honking. I feel like it's loud. It scares me. I wouldn't really like it either. I had a thought. The other situation where I almost honked, and I'm glad I stopped myself because it would have been very wrong, is I was driving down the road and there were some geese sitting in the road, just sitting right in the middle of it. And I came up to them and I slowed and I stopped because they were not moving. And then I was like, well, do I honk at them? But then I'm like, you don't want to honk at animals. I'm sure that's a bad idea. So I just waited and then they eventually left. But like I expected, like as like I came up to them, I was like slowing down, like they're gonna move, right? And they waited for me to basically full stop my car, and then they looked at me and went fine. They like got up and wandered off the road. Boat time. I was joking that now that I have my car license, I gotta get a boat now. Next step. I'm a paramedic. We call motorcycles donor cycles. Yeah, my family member who rode motorcycles said that among his motorcycle friends, they used to call people that would ride motorcycles without gear squids, because they looked like squids on the pavement after they had had accidents because they didn't have like the protective gear. But even with the gear, I don't know. Rode a cycle for 5 years. Terrifying the amount of people you see on the highway that aren't even looking up at the road. I'm better on the freeway now in terms of nerves, but I'm still real nervous because of how fast you're going and how quickly things could go wrong if they were gonna. And I don't get it. Not a bad idea to honk at them. I mean, you're not supposed to honk at, in the book it was talking about, like, don't make loud noises at, like, horses and deer because they can get startled and do things that are unpredictable. I don't really know what a frightened goose would do to my car, but I don't want to find out. Don't have as many tunes doing these Kara runs with you. Good luck. Hi, Hazel, said Tofu Kitty Cat. How you doing? I want to show you. I can't. I was gonna say I want to show you photos of the cake that I got yesterday, because this bakery does the cutest little mousse cakes, and there's just like a little layer of cake at the bottom and then like mousse, but it's like decorated into like a little thingy, and then they're really pretty and they're really yummy. There's like a fruit jelly in the middle of it, and I took some photos because I wanted to show you guys, and then I didn't post them anywhere and left my phone elsewhere, so you can't see, but I promise you it was really cute. I'm wanting cake. I had kind of set myself up. Oh, I should be doing these in smaller chunks because even though I'm a tank, I'm still a little undergeared. I was setting myself up for heartbreak because I was telling myself if I pass, then I'll take us to the bakery and we'll get some cake. But if I don't pass, then we're just going home because cake is for winners. So I was making myself extra sad if I didn't pass. That was kind of a dumb idea, but we worked out. We got him. If I need to wear protective gear that's not part of the vehicle, I'll just not ride in that vehicle. Yeah. I would really like one day to get an electric vehicle. I would, like to do it one day when I have a place to charge it at home. We don't have any kind of outlets or charging near here and in our apartments, but I would, I got gas today and it was fine. I may feasibly never actually need to learn to pump my own gas because in Oregon, you don't pump your own gas. Oregon, and then there's one other state, it is, I don't know about illegal, but you don't pump your own gas here. There are attendants, they do it for you. There's you have to be in a really rural area in the middle of the night for you to find a self-serve station. So I have actually never pumped gas, which is kind of remarkable because I worked at a gas station for a solid year and it was a self-serve station, which is how I got away with it. But occasionally somebody would ask for help pumping gas and I would just kind of not hide, but there would be somebody else on shift and they would do it because they knew how and I didn't, and I just managed to never learn. I also managed to work at that job and never learned to make coffee, despite the fact that was a product that we sold. I really don't know what I did in that job. I think I mostly just cleaned. But yeah, and now I'm here and all you do is you pull up and then you give them your card and you're like, gas please, and then they give you gas and then you drive away. So if I go from this car and then before I leave the state I get myself an electric car, charge that at home, I never gotta pump gas. Drum roll. New Jersey, that was it. Yeah, I'm sure pumping gas isn't difficult. I'm sure I can do it. It's just, haven't had to yet. Oh man, Tesla. Yeah, I know somebody that wants that. Zero Fox, as in the animal, given. Thank you for the 2-month resub. Want your shirt? Thanks for the awesome guides, the wonderful videos and streams. Aw, thanks. I wish I had a link I could point you to guys towards for this one. They're, as far as I know, unavailable, but it is one of my favorite shirts. I forgot to change your Hearthstone. Oh well, happens. All right, next druid. Ricky Princess, thank you for the brand new sub. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. Here you can park your Tesla at the Walmart. They have charging stations there. I imagine like there are charging stations around that we could use. There's just nothing like by home, right? Like I feel like I would be much more comfortable having something like that if I could charge it like at night, you know, at my own place. I wouldn't want to completely rely on like hitting up the Walmart every time I'm trying to get ready to go places. How many attempts on midnight? 253. Yeah, this will be 254. Yeah, rarity's working again. Let's see, 3 to 4 pumpers, 2 people waiting for gas. Still takes a bazillion years. It takes a while sometimes. I am not experienced enough to get frustrated or impatient with it yet. But it's all right. I hate getting gas when it's cold. Miserable. If it's warm, no issues with it. Okay, so I am boomkin this one. Let's make sure that my dungeon difficulty buff is on. Oh boy. I'm just so happy that I passed because A, it would have been very, very inconvenient to fail and have to book another one with how long, like how far out booked they are. I probably wouldn't have been able to get in until next year, and maybe not even early next year. It would have been a long time. So that's nice. But also, I feel like I can move on with my life now. This isn't a thing. It wasn't needed for me to put everything down and wait to finish this, but just the way that my mind works was once I got kind of close, I couldn't focus or really think about anything else. And I'm sure that if I had not passed, it would have been just kind of hanging over me, and it becomes difficult to like start other projects or like work on other things because you feel like you just have this incomplete item taunting you and you just want to get it done and close it in your brain and move on. So I'm very glad that I'm finished because now I feel like I can properly focus on Shadowlands and on videos and on streaming and, you know, maybe on buying a house if that's what we're going to do next. And I'm excited about that because it's been a good year and I'm just ready to move on with my life. Let's see. Leo Pluridude, thank you for the 4-month reset. Keep it up. Love what you do. Also, can I have your dog? Unfortunately, no, but you're probably better off. He's a cute boy. He is a lot though. I did pass. Flight shapeshift. I don't know specifically which one I'm using. Maybe Glyph of the Sentinel. If it's an owl, it's a glyph. Yeah, I passed my road test for my driver's license. I'm going in November to the DMV, and then they're going to give me the card. I'm going to have to try to take a good picture, and I'm salty about that because I have a really good picture. I won't show you because I'm not about to show ID, but I like my picture on my learner's permit, and they're not going to use the same one. They're going to take a new one, so I'm going to have to, you know, watch some YouTube videos about doing your makeup for your license photos just because, I don't know, I want to look cute. What new pet are you most excited for in Shadowlands? Those little Ardenweald squirrels are so cute. How does Mr. Nutty feel about sharing the car? He has been most gracious, although to be fair, it is our car. Our car. We purchased it together. Both of our names are on the insurance and on the deed. It is our shared marital car. But he's been really good about not only sharing it, but teaching me, because he comes with me, right? Like we're both, oh man, I have some add-on on here that makes these plates gigantic. Might be fly plates. So he's been teaching me, and he's been very, very patient about it. But yeah, right now, we're both working from home, right? So we really don't have a lot of places to go, and when we do have places to go, we can generally both go, which has been good, because then I drive, I get the practice, and he tells me not to hit things. And so we've been sharing in that way. It will be a little different if he goes back to work, and then if there was some place I really needed to go during the day, but that doesn't really happen very often. I don't think it's worth us getting a second vehicle. It's not so much a sharing thing. How do you get the Sentinel glyph? Looking up in the auction house. If it's not in your realm, then your next best bet is to have a character with inscription and figure out how to get the recipe. I don't know offhand, but Wowhead would probably tell you, and then craft it yourself. Everyone's license photo looks like a mugshot. Yeah, it might turn out awful. That's fine. It's not like I'm gonna be showing people, but I was just really happy with the last one because I don't typically take photos well. Like whenever I'm taking a picture for Instagram or social media or whatever, I take about 55 and I throw out 54 of them because I don't know what to do with my face. I've tried looking up, and what I really need is for some model that understands how dumb I am to write down in literal terms what to do with my face and be like, okay, so put your eyes here, but then relax this part of your face, and then put your chin over here. And I guess maybe it's tip individual to your face, but like, I just don't know how to do it. And it's a problem. So the fact that I got a decent photo for the license was kind of like a miracle. Don't you want to look really bad? Then if you're pulled over, you're not doing so hot. You look the same as the photo. I suppose so. You want to look in your photo like you do when you get pulled over, but I don't know. Wear a mask. I imagine they'll have me. I'm going to wear a mask to the DMV, but I imagine they're going to have me take it off for the photo. You take Joker with you on your trips. How does he do in the car? Oh man, we do take Joker with us on all of our trips because leaving him home is a bit of a liability. Not that he's going to damage any property, but he will cry loudly, and it's unclear how much he cries when there's nobody here. For a while we had a pet cam set up, but we haven't had that in a while. And you just don't want to like get evicted, right? You don't want the neighbors to call the police on your dog who they think is being beaten inside because he has quite bad anxiety, so he's very loud. So we bring him with us, and his anxiety does not end when he gets in the car. He is mostly okay when you are going on the freeway or you're just driving on roads because he knows there's no chance of you getting out. So nothing's going to change. So what you do is you roll down his window a little bit so that he can look out the window, sniff the air, and then he's fine. But as soon as you start taking directions or, heaven forbid, circling a parking lot, anywhere that he thinks you might get out of the car. So basically, as soon as you've slowed down trying to figure out where you're going and you're like kind of stressed and trying to focus on something, he will start to scream until, you get to where you're going. So it's a real good extra pressure test of trying to figure out A, where to park, B, how to park when your dog is screeching at you like a banshee because he's just real upset about change. I assure you that we have done everything that has ever been recommended to us to try to alleviate his anxiety, and it is better than it used to be. He doesn't screech the whole time now, but he'll give you some real good noise, like right when you're trying to park. And it seems like he can smell fear or just stress, because the second that you're like really upset about it, he will get louder. Like I said, very cute dog, can occasionally be a handful. Thought only my dog did that. Yeah, he doesn't like being left in the car, and we don't leave him in the car if it's hot. We always give him a window, and we're only ever leaving him in the car for grabbing something from a store in like 5 minutes or whatever. But, and then half the time I will stay in the car with him. But he just doesn't want to watch my spouse walk away. He just doesn't like the whole thing. So he'll be quite loud. And poor baby. Yeah, it is hard to be mad at him. I find it difficult to be upset with him because it's not his fault. And he's clearly very distressed, and that just sucks. This character is a boomkin, so she needs to use her dots. I keep looking for my thrash button because in my brain I'm still in the last character. I don't have a current updated add-on list, no. He's always so chill on stream. Yeah, because he knows nothing's going anywhere. He's very finely tuned into the things that do and don't bother him. His greatest fear is being left, and his greatest excitement is going out somewhere on a walk. So he is always watching for signs that he either might get to go for a walk or you might leave him, which often carries some of the same triggers. And he'll be watching out for that. So he's always most comfortable when I'm streaming because he knows that I'm not going anywhere because I'm streaming. He's just used to it by now. So on camera, he just sleeps. When you go to BlizzCon, did you put Joker in a dog daycare place? No, I went to BlizzCon alone. Whenever I traveled for YouTube stuff or went to visit BlizzCon or Blizzard or anything like that, I would just go alone, and Mr. Nutty would stay home with the dog. We did at one point try to overnight him at like a dog daycare that did overnights. Nope. And it was no good. It was a great place. They had like a great outdoor area. The dogs all played together during the day, but at night they put him in their own kennels and they let them sleep in there. And he did not, he just cried all night. And when we got him back in the next day, he was trying to cry at us and he couldn't because he'd lost his voice. And it was so sad that I wanted to cry. So we can take him to daycares and it's totally fine if you don't leave him overnight. So we used to, back when the world was a thing, we used to go to movies and whatever. We would take him to like a PetSmart or something that had a dog daycare. And then he would just play with other dogs all day and we'd go pick him up and then it would be fine. But if you're putting him alone, then you're gonna have a big problem. So we just don't both go places. If we have to travel, one of us goes, one of us stays. Or, like, once we went back to Canada for my sister's wedding, and we drove there with the dog, and then we dropped the dog off in Washington with our in-laws, and they looked after him for a few days. Like, you can leave him with friends if they have dogs, if they really like you, but for the most part, it's no good. I am going to... No, I'm pretty much where I'm going to be. Oh, no, I'm going to use my Hearthstone, aren't I? That's right. Quoth the Raven, thank you for the brand new sub. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. And Star Augur with the bits. Congratulations in passing your test. Why, thank you. The fact that he's right behind you. Stop talking, I'm embarrassed. Is he still back there? Oh, look at him sleeping. Oh, I get so flattered when he comes in and sleeps in my office with me, especially right now when the bed's occupied. The cat is in the... Actually, I can adjust the camera from here. That's handy. The cat is in the bed that the dog normally sleeps in here. And his other bed, like that, is in the other room. And I get so flattered when he wants to come hang out with me because, you know, I'm his stepmom. You know, he was already around when I came into the picture. So it just, you know, warms the cockles of my cold heart. Sounds like you have an infant that won't grow up. It can be difficult, but it can also, I wouldn't trade him. I wouldn't give him up. He's my buddy. We hang out together every day, huh? Bless you. You don't look at him. It makes him nervous. I am unsure if I would get another dog. He's actually, one thing that's really good about him, I know I've been trash talking my dog for an hour, but one thing that I really appreciate and love about that dog, behavior-wise, aside from the fact that he looks like an angel, is that he is really well behaved when we're out walking because we do it so often. So he's really good about not pulling on the leash too much as long as we're not like going somewhere new. But then also we'll walk by other people. One moment. Raven, thank you for the 3-month resub. Nice to be back. Happy new release date day. Yeah. We'll be walking outside and other people are walking their dogs. And not all the time, but quite often somebody else's dog will make a huge fuss about walking by a dog or seeing a dog. Like this morning we were by a park and there was a man there, probably like, he had a dog, it was a big dog, and the dog was on leash, so that was all fine. And the dog noticed us coming from probably like 50 feet away, quite far. And the dog immediately starts just panicking and being very loud and like yelping and barking and trying to get off leash. I don't really know what the distress is, but I make my way by them. It was the only way through, and then I'm leaving as fast as I can, and the dog is still going until I basically get out of earshot. And this person's obviously mortified because it's like early. It was quite early in the morning. They were by some residential buildings. I'm sure people could hear them, and they were doing their very best to have their dog be quiet, and it just wasn't working. And I extra appreciate that my own dog, when walking by another dog like that, he just kind of keeps his face forward. He looks down. He doesn't pay them any mind. And he makes me look really good because he makes me look like I trained him to do that. And I don't think I did. He's very well behaved on leash. Dogs better than cats? I don't think that we need to pick a favor. I think they're both good. Oh, sir. Old school RuneScape. What about old school RuneScape? I might have missed a question. Love Karazhan music? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not my favorite. I think the instrument that this particular song is played on, like a harpsichord or something, I don't know, don't hate me if I'm wrong. It's like a very classic kind of haunted house kind of instrument, but I've always found it just like a tiny bit grating, but the song's really good. Dog is barking. Look, it's Joker, it's Joker. And I think there's a lot of people that are having issues with their dogs lately because they're either not, you know, they're getting puppies, but they're not able to socialize them because of COVID, or, you know, they had dogs that they were socializing and they had to stop, you know, because of COVID. And you have a lot of dogs that don't have enough contact with other dogs. They haven't learned how to chill. And that's, I think, going to be an increasing problem for the next, like, you know, that's going to last a while because dogs are going to pick up patterns now that even if we are able to go back to normal, a lot of dogs are going to have picked up some habits. Was I right? It is a harpsichord? Oh man, I feel smart. Which affinity should I take on a Resto Druid? Depends on what you're doing. Boomkin gives you range, which is nice for raid healing. In PvP, I always take Bear for the damage reduction, but there's an argument to be made for Feral for movement speed as well. It's pretty much up to you. You think you're ever going to do all crap with Asmongold again? I wouldn't be surprised. They've had me on twice now, and I don't think I've hurt anybody's feelings, so I would like to think that I'm on some kind of a short list they have of, like, backup guests. So like when they ask somebody really cool and then that falls through and they're like, oh man, it's Wednesday, we don't have a guest, someone call Hazel. I like to imagine that I'm on that list. And I can pretty much do it. It doesn't really conflict with my stream. Dog has now developed separation anxiety because I'm home all the time. He's 11. I'm sure he is far from alone. I bet you that's happened with a lot of dogs. I'm sad I can't pet the dogs I meet on my walks anymore. I'm the other dog owner. Greyhound's massively anxious of other dogs. Yeah, I always feel really bad when I see it. It's got to be real tough for everybody. That's why I don't know. Like, I don't know if I want another dog after Joker. They're wonderful. I like having a dog, but I would need to have a real strong plan for how to hopefully avoid some of these issues, because, you know, you have the dog for 10, 15 years, and some of these things can be really disruptive to your life. Say what you want about cats, but my cat has never really told me where I can and cannot go. Although she does tell me I can't close doors, so I guess I can't say the cat has never limited my life. I just don't notice as much. How many attempts did it take to get the Horseman's mount? You mean the Fiery Warhorse, the other one? I don't know. It's been a long time. I did that grind quite a while ago. Out walking my dog, the most annoying is when others walk their super small sized dogs and super long leashes. I don't even mind that as long as they get it in hand by the time you go by, and as long as they keep it out of the road when people are driving by. But people around here will occasionally think that dog leash rules don't apply to them, and then their dog will run up to my dog, or they just think that, you know, because it's early or late or whatever, that there's nobody out there, but I am out there. And Joker, he's good on leash, but when another dog is like jumping at him trying to play, and that dog is off leash and he is on leash, he will be understandably uncomfortable because he's restrained, the other dog is not. It's not a fair fight. Or not that they're fighting, but you know what I mean. They're not on even footing, and he doesn't like that. So he'll get kind of like snippy and angry, and it's just uncomfortable for everybody. I hate it when people do that. That's why I have a pug. If he gets anxious or loud, I can pick him up. Has Boy joined this rotation lineup yet? This is going to be his inaugural Karazhan week. We're going to be doing Boy this week, maybe today if I get to the Warlocks today. I feel like I'm going to be doing I feel like I might be doing Kara runs all weekend. They do take me a tiny bit longer now, and I do have more of them than before. It's going to be increasingly more as I finish leveling characters. Yeah, getting a dog is a big commitment. It is a lot more work on average than other types of pets, because in addition to you know, any potential difficulties they may have, you still have to exercise them, you still got to clean up after them. It's a lot, but I would be doing the walking either way, and I feel safer and more natural, I think, walking with a dog. I think that even if I didn't have a dog, I would try to borrow one from somebody, be like, hey, dog needs a walk, free dog walks. And then I would draw the ire of the dog walking mafia because I was driving their prices down because they can't compete with free, because I just want a dog with me when I'm walking. Dog Guild, WRA, thank you for the 3-month resub. Excited for the expansion. Hopefully it's not too bad for everyone's holiday plans. Yeah, I'm fine because I'm not a Mythic World first raider. So, my raid is probably just going to take a break because, you know, there's no rush. So I'm fine for that reason. I'm also fine because, I'm not traveling this year because of COVID. I'm not getting on a plane. I'm not going to go get my grandparents sick. And also I couldn't if I wanted to because borders. So we're going to be staying home, and I'm going to be home and maybe a little sad, and I'm going to be like, you know what? At least I have Shadowlands. So it works out for me. Let's see. Love living in the country. I can walk my dog on 40 acres of woods. Could never live in a city. Hazel, were you surprised with the launch date? A little bit. I don't think I was surprised, but I might have been surprised. I was expecting it to be like a week or two later, but it's functionally the same thing. Feeding a dog can be hard work too. This is true. Oh gosh, I have 2 dogs. One's fine. The other one really does not like other dogs. Do it late in the morning or early afternoon. Wouldn't change your swapper for anything. Yeah, they're a handful sometimes, but they're good. I saw today. We were at the pet store picking up dog food, and I don't think I would get them from the pet store. I think there's issues with that, but I saw some bearded dragons there, and I'm like, man, this guy's cute. I felt bad for him because he was half off. I don't know if he was just like old or mean or sick or something like that. They were just trying to get rid of him, but like he'd been marked down to half price, and I'm like, sorry, bud, that's rude. Beard is a ton of work. I was curious. I don't think it's a good beginner reptile. I've never had a reptile, and I imagine that if I decided I wanted one, then I would probably find like the good beginner place to start with, like a crested gecko or a leopard gecko or something. But he was very cute. There is a release date. Yeah, we're getting Shadowlands November 23rd with the raid in December 8th and the pre-patch event starting quite soon on November the 10th. How's the bird feeder? See anything worth talking about? I gave up on the suet cake because they kept pooping on it, and that's gross, and you shouldn't eat your own poop. And because occasionally some birds would eat from it, but it was going very slowly compared to the seed. And like the sun would come and it would kind of melt the fat, then it would chill again. I just didn't feel good about the whole thing, so I chucked the rest of it. I took that down for now, but the bird seed's been doing really well. It's mostly not super interesting birds. The prettiest ones that we'll get is the occasional Stellar's jay or like house finches with the red on them. Oh, and then yellow-bellied finches, goldfinches I think they're called. Those are really pretty. But it's mostly just like a lot of gray sparrows and what are the other ones called? Finches. Other kinds of finches. They're cute though, and they make cute sounds. And they're funny to watch when they eat. Do you think I'm good to request my time off work, or is there another possible delay again? This is a risk you will have to judge for yourself, because I cannot guarantee anything. I can tell you, I would be shocked if they delayed it again, a second time. I think you are fairly safe, but it's 2020. Anything could happen. You never know. I did not get them out. That was attempt number 255. I came back to you shouldn't eat your own poop. You can always count on me for the good advice. Bearded dragon is a great starter. They like salad and insects and are cute. Need a lot of space though. Snakes are good starter pets. Snakes look difficult to feed. I think that a good indicator of starter pets should be something that is not dangerous, something that can be fed and maintained with relatively low effort, and something that is not difficult to keep happy. So if I was like trying to recommend an easy starter fish, I would look for something that can live in a lot of parameters, something that can eat commercial flake foods and be pretty happy on them, and then something that doesn't need a ton of space so that it can be happy even if somebody's going to put it in a smaller tank. Shocked Up Blizzard gets patch 1 Shadowlands balance outright with November release. Too many co-current systems. Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to have it perfect. I think it'll be functional. We'll see. Keeps getting delayed. Saw Blue Jay for the first time. Almost screamed. I was so excited. They're big and pretty. They make awful sounds. Ooh, you know what it is? It's boy time. The cry of a Blue Jay is jarring, but they're pretty. Box turtles? Is that arch? Shocked or shocked. Snakes get fed once or 2 weeks. You can defrost mice. That's the part that's gonna stop a lot of people though, is feeding them frozen mice. Like, even though it is, you know, you're not doing live mice, of course, it's still a bit, you're going to have issues with people being squeamish with that. And also, I've heard that you can have situations where the snake will be picky about food or won't want to take food, or, you know, maybe they're beginning to molt and they don't want food then, but like a beginner may have difficulty with that. I'm not saying it can't be done, but if somebody's just like, cute lizard, they may not be ready for like a ball python yet. Not saying a beginner can't handle a ball python, but if you're looking for the easiest one, I don't know if that's it. Beardy's like hyperallergenic cats with a heat lamp. Yeah, this is the inaugural boy run. He's sticking to his affliction lock guns, and it's going to be really annoying because you know, on a Dexter lock, I can Cataclysm. On a Demo lock, I can Imp Explode. And on this guy, I can Seed of Corruption, I suppose. I can Phantom Singularity. There was one other thing that I thought I spec'd into. Not Hell of Terror. Oh, yeah, I was thinking about Vile Taint, but it cost us Soul Shard. We'll see how we do. We'll see how we do. I'm gonna bring the Void Lord. Wouldn't it be great if Boy did the deal? Yo, if Boy gets... I have nothing good to promise, but I will be really... It'll be quite something if Boy were to get the mount on his very first run. But he can't get it on his very first run if he's on normal difficulty or heroic difficulty. So I'm going to turn his Boy feet around, aim him at the Boy entrance, and go put it on Mythic because, whoops. Yeah, it's on heroic. Yeah, I see that. Vile Taint is AoE. That's kind of what I'm after. It's all about clearing the trash at the bottom without dying. Wrong door. Wrong door. Oh boy. Let's go, boy. Oh, I ran too far. Boy's not very fast. Warlocks don't make very good old raid clearers. It's not that they can't do it, but they're not great at it. They're not very fast unless you take Burning Rush, and I'm not allowed. Got the name Barb the other day, my druid. Really happy with that. Nice. I feel deeply in my bones that this is Boy's time to shine. Dungeon difficulty mythic. Here we go. Mayhaps, thank you for the 6-month resub. Come on, boy, let's go. I wonder if that's a, like, it's cute with the name May. I wonder if your name's like a George R. Martin reference. He's a big Mayhaps guy. Instant gives health. Are you up to the challenge? Boy. Not a good start. Fingers crossed for our boy. I actually consider that to be a decent start that I noticed before I got to Opera. Most of the time, I'll get all the way to the end of the run, and I will have done the whole thing and not notice that it was on Heroics. So we're in decent shape. I'm just gonna manually dot some stuff, I suppose, and then maybe like a little bit of this. It's gonna be kind of like killing them as though they're like level appropriate mobs. They'll just go down reasonably fast. It'll be fine. Trying to decide between coffee, bed, or both. If you're close enough to bedtime, then I wouldn't do the coffee. Maybe some water if you want it, like water and then bed in like half an hour to an hour, because the water will like wake you up a little bit, but it's also good to be hydrated before you sleep, and you'll get a better night's sleep eventually. Or a better nap if you don't have caffeine in your system. Did you play the pre-patch event in beta, or was that not available? I played it a little bit a while ago. I played it when it first hit the PTR, and I haven't played it since, and it hasn't been on the PTR in a while. I wanted to do a video that just kind of summed up what to do and what there is to do, but it was already off the PTR by the time I got around to it. So I haven't done it in a while, and they made some changes because they were trying to get pre-patch ready, and then they gave up, and I don't really know what form it's going to be in when it comes out, but we'll have to see. Boy is not fast at this. So he's item level 62, so he is officially my lowest geared character. Not that he can't do it, just that he has to do one pack at a time. I did, like I said, got his neck upgraded. It's item level 104. I went and got his first, like, essence, although, yeah, no, I did get his first essence. I did put it on his bar so he can Crucible Flame something. That's all well and good. Make boy merch. Love him so much. I totally wear clothing with him. I like the idea. I'd have to be careful with it because while I could use the word boy, and I'm sure I could use an image that's similar to him, I can't use like an actual WoW gnome because that's intellectual property I don't own. Let's see. Yawns are contagious. Boy will get upgrades. Boy might get upgrades here, actually, now that you mention it. He's, I don't think I'm going to do like world quests or anything with him, although I could probably stand to just take a quick look-see at like gear slots like those, like the item level 49 slippers. It wouldn't hurt to just check for like, yeah, so this stuff is 63, so most of my stuff is item level like 58, 60. It doesn't seem worth to go get a item level 63 quest reward when I'm wearing like an item level 58 ring, but for like the 49 boots, that's probably a good call. Sorry. Sometimes I'm gonna yawn. Your silhouette's so iconic, you could just use that. Watching your VoDs from a few weeks ago have not aged well. You're saying you won't get all the things because it's too much. Yeah, I did a really backpedal on that one. I believe in boy. Hello. I hope I believe in boy to clear Opera, to be honest. What do you think of the new story trailer? Sorry if you already talked about this. I actually haven't. For anybody who hasn't seen it, Blizzard uploaded a Shadowlands story trailer on their YouTube channel. It's like a minute long. And nothing really crazy surprising. I imagine that the bit that Sylvanas said is more of a surprise if you didn't read Shadows Rising, because it's been somewhat evident for a while that she's got a plan, right? Like, she's up to something. Whether the question is going to be whether we agree with her that her ends justify her means when we find out what on earth her ends are, because her means are not cute. So she's obviously up to something. She's on a pretty anti-death crusade. She's done it a few times. She doesn't seem to be a fan. And that was clarified a little bit in the trailer, but that's also something that you can get from the books and somewhat from the stuff that we've already done. What was the first time they showed the jailer? Maybe officially. We've had like silhouettes of the jailer at BlizzCon, and I might be wrong on this. I may be misremembering. We had silhouettes of him, and then there were like the jailer leaks or whatever. And it might be the first time we've seen him since the leaks. Anti-Death Crusade is an undead, isn't she? And the undead race immortal? Yeah, but she's like not happy about it. She's like not thrilled about it. I think she's mad that she died. Watch the story trailer with us. I think I can do that. I think I can put it on. Well, we gotta let Boy get the mount first. We're gonna finish this run. We're gonna let Boy get his Boy mount. Hazel just joined. What do you think about the new release date? It's soon. I'm excited. It's sooner than I thought. I figured they were gonna push the expansion release to December and then have raid in January. I did see what Ian tweeted a bit about not wanting to, about having to compromise between releasing a raid over the holiday season and pacing. They didn't want a big gap, evidently, between expansion release and raid release. And I wouldn't have minded a big gap, but I understand that I'm not the only perspective on the issue. So that's all. That's all well and good. The jailer should be a covenant. Midnight will forever be known as the Boy mount. If Boy gets Midnight, he will ride that for like the rest of his days. Shame it doesn't fly, actually. That would make it easier for him to ride that for the rest of his days. Imagine he finally gets Pathfinder in Shadowlands and he's just like running around on Midnight because he got it. Theorize Sylvanas will replace the jailer, not redeemed, but not killed off either. I would be, I think, a little surprised if they killed her off. I think they're going to end her story. And I should be clear, this is all speculation, not spoilers, because I don't know anything. I imagine they're going to end her story in Shadowlands because it's been going for a while and she's obviously coming to the forefront and there's only so much of this they can do before it's just like the story that never ends. So I imagine they're going to kind of wrap it up and it's going to be the culmination of everything she's been up to since Cataclysm, right? Or maybe before that, I don't know. So that I don't think she's going to actually die because A, death is kind of a whole thing now with different implications that I don't even fully understand. B, she's like a big bucks character. She's like one of, I mean, I know they killed like Vol'jin and I guess Varian. They're not against killing their major lore characters, but she's like a really big popular one. And even for all that she's done, it would feel, I guess I'm not going to say they won't do it, but I give it like 70% odds that she doesn't die, but that they write her off somehow. So having her, you know, become the jailer or, I don't know, like a new Lich King or something like that would be, I think, a not an unlikely thing. Nathanos? I actually, to this day, do not know how to pronounce that. He's got to go. I think he actually, do we know about that? I don't know. I'm over him. I did like 4 world quests on Horde side, and he was like, I'm not even going to do the voice. I don't like him, though. That man needs to take a look at his tone. Today marks a sad day, the day my WoW sub ended. They did Vol'jin dirty. I was doing a little tiny bit of Echo Isles questing. I started a new troll character, and for some reason I didn't do XL's reach on her. Kind of regretting that, but she started in the Echo Isles, and you know, Vol'jin's just like up and about there. He's helping you with the witches on the island, and you're just like, oh man, what's up, buddy? How you doing? What do you need? Trusty, you happen to watch your speculation at Sarfang? You were wrong. Oh yeah, never believe anything I say about lore. I have no idea. My guesses cannot be called educated. I just say stuff because that's what streamers do. Some of them have more to go on than me. Oh, I just don't want to get left out of the party. Arthas is going to be the new jailer. You heard it here first. Him and Sylvanas have the chance to be happy together. I don't buy that they were actually in love. I buy that he was in love. I don't think she's that into it. I never got that vibe from her. Hazel, how's your afternoon/evening going? It's going quite well. It's warm actually in here. It's been very chilly recently, but the sun came out and it's been really cooking the building. It is like almost 80 degrees in here, but I can't turn on the AC because we took the ACs out. I have the window open. I could open it a bit more. Bahadur, thank you for the bits. Happy Shadowlands announcement date 2.0. Now we can finally make our plans all over again. I'm just happy to have like a raid release date. I feel like I can nail down my schedule a little bit better now that I've got like, stuff kind of like sorted and out of the way and I know when things are going to be. Yeah, Portland is warm today for sure. It's very sunny. Started a new Undead, decided against XL's Reach since I've done it like 4 times. Instant regret, yeah. It seems like, I know XL's Reach for me takes like 35 minutes at the fastest. So it's not like it's that efficient. I may very well be able to get through the other stuff more quickly. It just feels like, it feels... Sorry. I'm trying to figure out what would Boy do. Boy would get his Phantom Singularity off cooldown. That's what Boy would do. I completely lost my words. I'm thinking about cake again. It was shaped like a rose, and it had like a lychee jelly in the middle, and it was like a white chocolate mousse cake, and it was so cute. And then it had these little droplets with gold leaf on top of it to look like water droplets in the flower petals. All right, come on, Boy. Nope, just more inescapable dread. Let me put that on my inescapable dread pile. That's attempt number 256. Boy has his Hearthstone set to Darkshire, though. Feels faster, more than the feeling. I don't remember what I was talking about. Not a clue what the feeling was. Oh, it feels like it's slower to do other starting zones, even if it's not. It feels slower because it's just more boring. Inescapable. Next time for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna take a quick break and top up my water, but we have more Warlocks yet to go. I was Warlock 1, we got more. You best believe we got like 21 attempts to do a week now, so this thing's gotta happen soon, right? You guys think I'm gonna get this before Shadowlands? I used to think that was a given, and I'm starting to become unsure. I shall be right back. Okay, I found my phone so I can show you guys the photos of this cake, because I'm too scared to post on Instagram, but apparently this is okay. So this is what it looked like when it was, hang on. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. You can't do it. I'm just gonna post in Discord. I'm sad. Let's see. Discord. Squirrel Squad. Recipes and food. New post. This one and this one. And I'm just gonna say, I'll call it mousse cake because that's what it was. That's the cake that I got. Okay. So if you want to see it, in our Discord, which the bot should be able to provide a link, there's a recipe channel and I just put it in there. But it was so pretty and it was so good. I also got a macaron because I've always wanted to pick one up at a store when I went there. And they had like a yuzu one, and then I got that and it was very good. I may have waited too long to eat it. The icing was kind of melty at the beginning. Or by the time I got to it. I always wanted to try a Herman Miller chair. I like them. It's not going to like fix your like grades or anything, but it seems like I'm hoping that I can use it for a long time, and it's not built in such a way in that like the cushions are going to wear in or something like that. Like the support is very structural to it, and yet it doesn't, I feel like it really encourages me to sit properly. I'm going to turn down my ISO a little bit. It's too bright. It is sunny today. Don't mind me just stepping over my cat. Okay. Next Warlock, here we go. Are you missing any classes? No, I have at least one of everything, and then I have 2 of a lot of things, and then I have 3 of a couple of things. I've got everything at this point. Let's see. That looked delicious. It was so good. It was so good. They also had this like Japanese cream cheesecake. It wasn't really a cheesecake. It was more like a bread, but it was sliced like a cake. I don't know exactly what it was called, but it was divine. It was really good. Very rich mousse. It was actually pretty light. It was like a white chocolate mousse. It was, I ate the whole thing in one sitting, and it was like palm sized. Yeah, mousse with the extra S's. Might have to get cake tomorrow now. It was just, you know, the first time we went in there, I was just kind of looking for places to drive for practice. And then the cake that I got was so good, and I just, like, the vibe you get from this place, like, they got a photo on the wall of all the chefs, like, at Le Cordon Bleu in France and like cooking school, and like their location is not good. You know, they're like next to a dentist or something like that. And you get the feeling this is just like a small business that's doing their best, and they're making some really nice cakes, and they're not cheap. You know, it was a very small cake, and it was, I think, like, you know, $10. I guess it's actually not that expensive for like a small artisan cake like that. But I just really like them, and I want them to do good because they're making such delicious things. They're putting a lot of effort into it, and it's just so yummy. Plus, it was for celebrating. Is it homemade? No. That was from a patisserie. If any of you are ever in Portland, or if you're in Portland, you should check out La Rose in Beaverton. Very, very good. What made you choose your current WoW server? Oh, what made me choose my current WoW server? My guild did. They were rolling on Lightbringer, so I rolled on Lightbringer right along with them. The Hearthstone cookbook after your last cooking stream. More interested in mixed drinks. You got the right cookbook then. That is the one with all of the... I mean, all of Chelsea Monroe Castle's cookbooks have cocktails in them generally. Most of them, and they're quite good, but the Hearthstone cookbook definitely has all the bar stuff. Now I have to go bake carrot cake, I think. Live in Beaverton, have to check that place out. It's delightful. The macaron was good, the cheesecake thing was good. They also do Japanese souffle pancakes, and we didn't get those because you can't eat inside. Like, it's a pretty small shop, so you're wearing a mask, you're in and out. They have tables outside, so you could eat it there, but it's like October, so it's chilly. If you live nearby, you could probably just bring it home. And maybe it keeps for a while, but it was just so pretty and cute. So close on Washington Street. Feelings about launch day. Stoked. Hyped. Pumped. Lit. What other words do the kids use that I can ruin because I'm old? Do I need to gear up now for Shadowlands? Nah. Wait until the pre-patch event starts, and then if you want to worry about gear, get the catch-up gear that the pre-patch event will have. And then if you're not all that worried about it, then just wait until you level in Shadowlands. Either will be fine. What will you be doing for Halloween? Halloween's on Saturday, right? Yeah. It's the 31st, right? I never really celebrate Halloween, to be honest with you. I'm gonna stream like normal. It's the last day of the month, so I'm gonna be spending some extra time drawing, and then I'm gonna call my mom because I gotta tell her all about my road test. And I am going to, I think, wear one of my Murloc onesies on stream in the morning and call that a Halloween costume and have done with it. Maybe I'll perfect a spooky laugh. I'm not much for holidays. I did indeed pass my test. Best race for Restor Druid? Night Elf, I think. Did you just say lit? Yeah. It's fine, right? Yeah, it's lit. I say that actually kind of a lot. I like to imagine that I am the generation that's ruining it for all the Zoomers. Although I don't think Zoomers say lit anymore. I don't know what they say. Hazel gave us lit, but I don't know if you've heard fam from her. I don't hit the fam too often. What was the other one, though? We were looking up youth slang because it was really funny because we were just sitting in Discord, just a bunch of... I was, I think, the youngest. I think most of them were kind of like early 30s. And, oh, shoot. What was it? It was something related to 100. It wasn't keep it 100, although I've seen people use that way too much. What was it? Hundo P. For 100%, like, yeah, sure, totally, 100%. We started saying Hundo P. So, like, I'd be like, yo, you want sushi for dinner? And he would say, he would ask me if I want sushi for dinner and be like, yeah, Hundo P. Lit. Oh, it's so much fun. Yeet. Yeah, I gain a deep and visceral satisfaction from hearing adults 30 and older say yeet. It's excellent. Just started saying sus. I think it depends on what it's for. I don't know how I feel about sus. I understand that it's for suspicious, and it can be used in a way that's funny, but often it seems kind of tied to just, like, homophobia. I guess it depends on what side of TikTok you're on. But I'm sitting on the fence on that one. Kobe is for accuracy, yeet is for power. 20 never heard Hundo P. I don't think that it's an actual thing. I think that we like looked up a website and we were trying to find like slang of the youth. And obviously whoever wrote this, I don't think they were the youth. And we were just picking, I'm pretty sure somebody probably just made that up. I've never in my life heard anybody unironically say Hundo P. We just started saying it because we saw it online. After I kill Opera, we'll take a look and see if we can find any new good youth. Oh, sus is tied to Among Us. Okay. Definitely a term. You've heard people actually say Hundo P before? Let's see. First time hearing Hundo P. All right. So let's see. Current youth slang. Let's find something that's not gonna get me ruined. I've heard Gucci. I've heard lit. Nobody says OMG out loud, and if they do, they should stop. Salty. That's just a gamer thing. Let me see. Who spells sick without the K? That's for when you're like putting your dog, you know, on like a goat or something. They have yellow on this list. This is incorrect. This is old. They think that a party during the day should be called a dager. Tanarin, thank you for the 6-month resub. How did the driving test go? Very well. Apparently I can drive. It doesn't feel right yet, but they passed me. I got a 97. I only made one mistake, according to them. Although there were a few, what else did I do? So there's that one point that I was getting waved on when I stopped, although that was, I knew I was fine. And then I just waited a really long time. I was turning right on a red, and I just waited for the world's biggest gap because I didn't want to be in a situation where I thought I had space, and I clearly did because I didn't die, but they thought I had cut somebody off. So I just waited for like the most massive gap in the world to turn right on a red, especially because it was like a fast road. But I thought they might ding me for waiting too long because I was just being exceedingly cautious. What else did I do? Oh, I forgot to tell you the one last thing that I did. So we were heading back to the place, and he tells me, a theme of this road test is that he's, you know, they give you directions. So he's like, you know, take a left at this light, take a right at the stop sign, etc. And he has been giving me these directions very late, which I was surprised by because in the book, they want you to signal like 100 feet or whatever, 200 feet even before your move. And he was telling me when I was coming like right up to it. So I was like, okay, if you say so. You promised you weren't going to trick me, so then if I can safely do it, I'll do it. So he was giving me directions real last minute. And we're coming up to a left, and it's the only direction that he gave me like well in advance. He's like, we're gonna go through 4 lights, and on the 4th one, we're gonna go left, and I'll also tell you when we get there, so you don't have to remember. And I'm like, cool. So we go through the lights, and we get to the 4th one, and I know I'm turning left, and I've already gotten in the left lane in preparation to get into the turn lane, but the turn lane is backed up like a street and a half. And by the time I'm looking at it, trying to figure out what's going on here, I've already driven past it, and I can no longer get in. And so I missed that left just because the turn lane was completely like there would have been space if I had realized and had the presence of mind at the, like, just as I got through the last intersection to get into this incredibly long line in the turn lane. But I missed that one, and he didn't mark me down for that at all. But that one freaked me out. They did not take me to a school zone. They also did not take me to any one-way streets. The worst thing that they took me to was construction zones with meandering construction workers. Here, almost all the streets have signs so you can't turn right on red. Honestly, I usually feel more comfortable when my directions are being controlled by lights and whatnot. I would much rather turn places when I know I have right of way and I'm not like trying to, you know, fight anybody else over it. So I think that, and I don't think that's just a me thing. There was some article I read about how Americans, and I'm not American, but North Americans tend to prefer roundabouts even though, or pardon me, they prefer intersections over roundabouts. Even though roundabouts are faster and safer, because in a roundabout you have to yield, which involves like some decision making as opposed to just getting in your lane and waiting for your light. I forgot where I started with that, but I understand. Oh man, had that happen with my test, missed a turn, they didn't give me enough time, didn't affect the test. Yeah, I basically just told him, I'm like, at this point I would just go through the light, and he's like, yeah, that's probably fine. So we just went through it straight, and then we found another place to take a left, and it was okay. I was a little nervous about it, but not too bad. I hate roundabouts. They're fine when they're not, they're fine when they're not busy. I understand their mechanics very well, and I find their mechanics easier to understand than an intersection, because in a roundabout, you know, you yield to traffic in the circle, and then you get in the circle, and then you leave the circle, and you know, signal and whatever. Whereas with intersections, obviously you have lights and you have lanes, but you know, sometimes, you know, you're turning left on a green, but you're yielding to traffic coming from this way. And sometimes you're turning right and you're yielding to cross traffic, or maybe there's like pedestrians, and you know, there's things to check for. And I am still in my mind mentally nailing down, like I might be turning and I might know I have to yield, but in my brain, I've like spaced and forgotten who I'm yielding to. So I'm just like looking 360 degrees around me to being like, anybody else want to go? And then I go, and then that's wrong. Whereas in a roundabout, at least I know who I'm yielding to. I am getting on out of here. But one of the first times I was ever driving, and this was in Canada. I very briefly started learning to drive in Canada. I didn't finish it, and then I basically forgot everything. But on one of my first outings up there, the first ever time I saw a roundabout, somebody was already in it, and they were going around the wrong way. And then they figured out what they were doing, and then they reversed around it the other way, and then basically just got turned around eventually and went back to where they came from and gave up, like embarrassed. It was like watching your cat try to jump on the couch and then miss and then pretend that they were like grooming themselves. And we're just like sitting before the roundabout, just floored, and I turned to my stepdad, who was teaching me at the time, and was like, that's not right? And he's like, no, don't do that. That's a bad idea. Did I take this character? I need to actually check her lockout because I can't remember if I just ran this character or not. Raid info. Karazhan. Defeated. All right, next one. Americans don't know how to use blinkers. That's why most hate roundabouts. You ever, like, you're driving behind somebody and they're, like, not signaling any turns, but then after, like, 5 failed signals, they finally do it, and you're, like, really proud of them because they, like, found it? I always get really excited. Like, hey, you found your signal. Good job. Look at you go. Look both ways at a roundabout. I don't trust other drivers. Our Veil Assault Rare is gone in Shadowlands. No, still gonna keep on keeping on. Nothing embarrasses me more than trying to park, having to back out like 10 times to get straight. Yeah, it's my life. I'm trying to get better at it. All I want is like a queue, like an order of operations, and being like, I'm gonna pull X far past the spot, or not past it, or whatever, and then just to get a feel for when I'm turning it. So what I do is I just go very slowly, because the last thing I want to do is damage somebody else's car. Singing Silver, thank you very, very much for the 10 gift subs. Goodness. We also had Blue X Fawn with a brand new sub right at the moment. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. And then Mal gave out another 3 gift subs. Gosh, guys, thanks. Wow, I'm very squeaky. Gosh, guys, thank you. Mal with the bits. Aw. Thank you very, 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 very much. You should look up the Swindon Magic Roundabout. Yeah, cheers, guys. Congrats to those who got them. Have I gone too far? I am in the right spot. Dungeon difficulty mythic. This is probably going to be our last, attempt of the day. Magic Roundabout is a nightmare. Parallel parking. It was not on my test. I have done it before because there was a moment in my life when I was mistaken and I thought it was going to be on my test. So I was like, honey, you got to teach me how to parallel park. So we went out and we found a place that had some parallel spots, and then we practiced for like an hour. And then I think I did it again on a second day. I think maybe I had 2 separate sessions of practicing parallel parking. So I have done it before, but I haven't done it since then. And that was like 6 months ago. And I wasn't great. I'd rather not. Today we were picking up lunch after we went to the pet store, and I drove past about 4 open parallel spots until I found a different one because I was like, I'm not feeling brave. Congrats on your pass. Why, thank you. Do we know if essences will still be usable? Essences will not be usable in PvP and Shadowlands. No. They will be disabled once you get into a Shadowlands zone, or I think probably like once you, like maybe if you like level lock yourself at 50, then maybe, but I don't know. Let's see. Watching your video about the Yeti. Now you said you edit audio, but the audio we're hearing now is straight for the Yeti itself. Almost. I am not using the Yeti right now. I rehomed that Yeti eventually when I upgraded my microphone. I am currently using a Rode NT1A. That's not to say that it's not an excellent microphone. And this feed is direct from the mic, but it's not direct from a Yeti. One of these days, when I finish Dungeon Guides, either after Dungeon Guides, before Raid Guides, or maybe after Raid Guides, I'm gonna do a video looking at that World of Warcraft Blue Yeti, because I have one. And I want to check out the features and also just see how the Yeti performs compared to this after all this time. Situational anxiety about some things, and it's nice when it pays off. Oh, congrats on the test. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's nice feeling, and actually I don't know if this is what you mean, but for me, I feel satisfied when I like conquer a situation that I was afraid of. Like, I know now that I'm gonna be scared of some things, and that if I do them, it will be scary and I will feel scared, but that doesn't mean I can't do it. And then after I've done it, I've like leveled up a little bit. I'm gonna be a little bit less scared next time that I do that thing. And then I'll be less scared next time I do any scary thing, which is dope. It's every time I be brave. That's not a sentence. Every time I be brave, I get a little braver for next time. And you know, you never know what scary stuff's going to be coming in your life. So I try to be brave wherever I can. Yes, exactly. I be brave. It's good. It's good. I've noticed that when I'm nervous, I notice it very intently. I can feel it in my body. It sits right here. Obviously, you get the stomach upset. If I get very nervous, I'll get shaky and dizzy, and I am acutely aware of how much I'm freaking out. But people around me can't really tell, and when you watch me on camera, I have some footage of myself where I was feeling that way. You can't really see, and it will mostly come out, I'll like misspeak or I'll stutter or I'll sound a little nervous, but other people are just like, oh, that's cute. Nobody's as upset about it as I am, and usually the worst things that have happened to me when I'm nervous are like, I'll walk in the wrong door of a store. Like, I'll walk in a grocery store from the exit by accident, and then I'll go, oh dear. But, you know, it's fine. I still get in the store, and then I know for next time, you know. I want an every time I be brave shirt. Be brave like boy. Hazel, on Sunday after your stream, I got the Headless Horseman now. Congratulations, Vic. Been driving for 16 years, and I still hate parallel parking. I imagine if I had to do it every day, like if I worked somewhere or had a regular stop that I was parallel parking for, I would get really good at it. It's just a question of you get better at the things you do regularly, which is why I am forcing myself to regularly drive freeway to get places, because I know I'm still scared of it a little bit, and I need to shake that off by just doing a bunch of it. Bumping for every time I be brave. Are you pre-ordering the new WoW cookbook? Pre-order, probably not, but I will definitely get it when it comes out. I don't think it's going to sell out. I just got Holly, finally. Congratulations, Blade Goa. Watch the last episode of The Sopranos to learn how to parallel park. I have not seen it, so I think that's going over my head, but... I feel like parallel parking, assuming that you know the general order of what you're supposed to do, is mostly just about the pressure of wanting to get out of the way, and not wanting to rush. So I think that if it's a quiet place and there's nobody really waiting for me, or I just get brazen enough to be like, well, they can go around, then it's fine, because as long as I can take as long as I want and need to, then I can do it. It's just not going to happen in a hurry. I'm not going to parallel park quickly, but I could do it if really, really pressed to. It's just that, you know, usually you're either like late or you want to get somewhere quickly, or it's busy and you don't want to hold up people behind you. And that's the real sticking point with it, I think. Some cars parallel park for you. Gosh, one day, if I work good and I save up some money and I end up in a newer car, I am so excited to find out what it's like to drive with like backup cameras and stuff like that. Let alone, like, I was looking at Teslas, not that I'm buying one, but they can apparently like lane change for you. You can just be like, yo, pass that guy, and it'll be like, okay. I don't know if that's how it works, but it's a thing they have on their website, and that's crazy. You know, we don't have a backup camera. I would like one day, although I am glad that I learned to drive without one, because I wasn't relying on it during my test. They want you to look out your window to back up. I was initially kind of horrified when I first learned that I would have to back up my car, and I could look out the back window, but I wouldn't see much because it's just a window and it doesn't show you the stuff on the ground. But then I've realized that what I do is that I look out the back window and I back up slowly, and if anything's back there, that sucks. They'll get out of the way. Obviously, usually I just got in my car, so I checked to make sure there weren't like children right back there. But if a child manages to run and hide behind my car in the 30 seconds since I got in it, and then also not move when I start very slowly backing up, then sucks to be that kid. I'm just gonna have to trust that won't happen, because I have no way to know otherwise. It's hard not to trust the backup cameras at first. Yeah, that's true. The backup cameras would save that child's life, but for the most part, while there are children running around, they don't tend to hide behind a vehicle that is moving. They would have to like take a nap back there. I don't think Locke is the best character to do this on. No, it's awful. Wait until you hear about 360 cameras? Oh man, blind spot cameras? That's another thing that I didn't have while learning that probably did me good, because he said that my blind spot checks were really good, which just means that I do that. But I think part of it is that I don't really trust my mirrors, because I'm still not super good at understanding what they're showing me. I'm better with my left mirror now because you use that one all the time. But like when I go to look at my right mirror, it takes me a second to figure out what I'm seeing, and what I'll trust myself more. Like I'll check it to make sure there's nobody coming up, but I'm much more comfortable just like checking the window because then I can actually see if I'm gonna, you know, kill somebody when I merge to the right. Makes a note to never ask Hazel to babysit. Oh boy. Like my backup cam, but not having one makes you more aware of what's around you if you're checking, that is. Backup cameras could be motion sickness. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Shouldn't trust your mirror blindly. Yeah, I mean, well, your mirrors don't cover your blind spots. That's why they call it a blind spot. I'm just so happy. I want, what do I want? I want you guys to give me ideas. I want brainstorming help. So like, if I had been more on my ball and I had done this and learned how to drive like a couple years ago and gotten my license before COVID, I would have probably like gone some places, you know, on my own to celebrate my license. I might have taken myself to a restaurant. I might have taken myself to a movie. I might have taken myself shopping. I'm doing none of those things. What is something fun? What is a fun place I can go on my own that is, you know, COVID safe, that I can just, you know, go celebrate being able to drive alone with? Not like today because I don't get the actual card for a few weeks, but I can't think of like what to do. Like it's kind of a letdown getting my license now because I go nowhere aside from groceries. I can get groceries. I go to my hair appointments. I'll be able to take myself to those. That's going to be nice. And then tattoo. Although I may still have my husband. I may still ask him to take me to the tattoo just because I can drive there, but I get sleepy after it. And it's kind of nice having somebody drive me home. The car wash. McDonald's. I wonder if I'll want to eat junk food in private. That's something that I wanted when I was 11, is because we didn't really get takeout. We never got junk food. So I always thought that, man, when I get a car one day, I'm going to go through a drive-thru and nobody will know. But I don't really particularly like fast food. And most things I can either order or just like pick up, or I would want to share with my spouse. So I don't, car wash. When I bought my car, I had a job where I used vehicles with backup cams, so my new car didn't have one. A little confusing. Nathan, thank you for the brand new sub. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. This is going to be attempt number 258. Nope. Maybe tomorrow. We're going to be doing more. Tomorrow's Friday, so we're going to be back in the afternoon. Parks. Drive-through coffee or meal. Maybe some food. Crater Lake is far. That would be a big one to go by myself. I'll probably bring Mr. Nutty along. Sometimes driving just to drive. Look for a coffee shop, get a coffee. Pet store. maybe I'll go find like a fun garden store, getting another tattoo. We're still working on this one. I have a lot more work to do on this sleeve. We're going to have, I think, most of the arm filled. Hope you're having a nice stream. Wonder if they know there's a way to share lock us in old raids. I think they fixed it. I don't think you can do it anymore. I don't like pizza. Pizza's fine. We have a pizza place around here that I like, but I'll generally order pizza if I'm doing that. Arboretum to take a walk? Yeah, it's not something I'd go by myself though. I wanted something indulgent, but the thing is, all the things that I used to look forward to as like really exciting, indulgent things to do, I either don't want to do anymore or they just don't feel good, ethically or otherwise. Like I used to really like shopping, and now I still enjoy shopping, but I'm making a real conscious effort to not buy clothes that I don't need because I don't want to be just like constantly throwing out clothes, and that's like a whole problem. And also, it's cheaper to not buy clothes you don't need. So I'm kind of like good on stuff, you know? Yeah, Tao of Tea is really excellent, for sure. Maybe I could get some tea or like a plant or something. I don't really need any more plants. I'm kind of good with the plants that I have. Drive-in movie. Buy some miniatures. I don't really want to get... I'm awful because or not awful, but I'm no fun because I don't really want stuff typically. Shopping's not as much fun anymore because on top of not wanting to buy things I don't need, I also don't want to have things that I don't need. Because I'm trying to have a less cluttered place. What's Hazel doing at 9.0? Same thing she did in 8.3, running characters through Karazhan, trying to farm mounts. We go to Wajimaya sometime. We're not super close, but yeah, I get tea from there. That's where I get my Genmaicha and my Hojicha. I do have the Raylan thing. Get alliance decals for your car. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll be fun just to go like get groceries by myself. I am not starting an Uber. Buy a new tea mug. My mug shelf is full. I'd have to find one to retire. Is it hard to remember to call him Mr. Nutty? Not really. I think it would be difficult if I was often using actual names, but when you live with somebody and you're the only two people around, you don't really use names. We don't really call each other by names. We just say, hey, because there's nobody else here, you know? I thought I was going to tell you guys about something else. There was something else I was going to say or share or... I don't know. Want to gift yourself, and you already have everything. Do a donation to a zoo or a pet shelter. Dare we ask where off to after care, or is that too far in the future? We would probably set up camp in like Mechagon to try to camp Rust Feather. Oh, pardon me. Rust Feather and like the other thing. Congrats again. Wonderful how much money you can save by not wanting clutter in your life. Yeah, it's kind of handy how a lot of the things that you can do to like, you know, reduce your environmental footprint and to create less waste, or to be healthier are also things that save you money, you know, and you start, you know, you're eating the whole foods and you're trying to buy stuff with less waste, you're trying to eat your food before it goes bad, and you're trying to not buy extra clothes you don't need, and you're trying to, all these things kind of also tend to save you money. Go on a scenic drive with an audiobook? Confesses she doesn't know his name. 6 years of marriage later. I knew it when I came down, but I forgot since, and it's been impolite. Impolite to ask. In Chinese culture, impolite to call your elders by their given name. I don't know some of my uncle's given names. I guess that makes sense. It's kind of like how around, you know, in Western culture, we will usually, it's polite to call your parents like mom and dad or something like that. It's unusual to call your parents by their first names. Although I do know my parents' first names. See for Matt, thanks for the bits. I always call my boyfriend babe. Feels weird calling him by his name. We generally eschew pet names, except we will call each other honey relentlessly. That one just kind of stuck. Bird watching. I could go bird watching. The problem with going places with all of us is then you have to bring the dog, and you can't bring the dog bird watching. I could go bird watching. I could take some bird pictures. That might be fun. New mascara? No. It's old mascara, which I think is why it's working for me. You ever notice how when you get to like the end of a tube's lifespan, it gets like kind of clumpy in a way that like works for you? Boyfriend is not allowed to call me by my name, means I'm in trouble. Hate introducing people to my parents because it sounds so weird to say their names. I don't know if I've ever introduced somebody to my parents. I think a lot of people just used to call my mom Hazel's mom. And she just kind of embraced that. Bring the dog bird watching is hard, man. Hiking is pretty much bird watching, but everything watching. Mascara literally wine. I can't remember what I was going to say, but you know, we have hopefully many days ahead of us that I can remember and tell you then. Thank you so much for coming to my stream today, guys. I am wrapping up for the day, but I'll be back tomorrow afternoon with more Karazhan runs. We shall not give up, ever. Have no fear about that. And happy Shadowlands release day. Thank you all so much. Appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.